Welcome inside, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Johnson. This is episode 2 of Mission Ready. Welcome inside. In today's episode, we're going to cover mental state. Your mental state, how to elevate it and to elevate your default setting. What I mean by default setting is the state that you're in most often, that is your default setting. So an example, if you think about a thermostat, you could have it very low, you could have it very high. So let's just say there's two people. There's Jimmy and there's Michael. Jimmy, his natural default setting is on 68 out of 100. He wakes up, he has minimal energy, he doesn't really have much clarity, he doesn't have much intentionality. He's kind of drifting through life and throughout his day. So he always is very reactive and counterproductive in regards to the person and the man that he wants to become. So that's person one. Person two, they wake up and they're usually operating at a 90 on a scale of 0 to 100. So his scale over here is lower and his scale is much higher. So meaning his default setting is going to be higher because he's more productive. He gets stuff done. He doesn't procrastinate. He also has a busier schedule, so he actually does more with his time in less amount of time. And people ask him, how do you do so much? How do you do so much? That is the person who naturally operates at a high level. So I'm bringing this all up because your state can be elevated. Your default setting, which again is the state that you are in most often, that is your default setting. You have the ability naturally to elevate that. So think again, your friend that's always kicking ass and winning, they're go, 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 go. Maybe they're a single parent. Maybe they run a business. Maybe they lead a company that they work for. They get a lot done. He's a basketball coach. He's a leader. She's a mother. They coach and teach a sales team. They do a lot of extracurricular activities and they still have time for their faith, their family, and their social life. And people wonder, how do you do so much? Maybe you can relate. Or you're the opposite, where you're like, I don't even know what else to do because I don't have enough time. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can elevate your default setting and you can be higher on your thermostat. Let's get started. So first things first is you have to know that your default setting is going to consist of your state. And your state consists of three things. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, welcome. If you're listening on Spotify, welcome. So what I'm sharing on my screen right now is a triangle. At the bottom of the triangle is your physiology. That is going to be your body language, your posture, how you carry yourself. If you're watching this on YouTube, you see I move my hands a lot. I get very into these topics. I'm passionate because I love speaking about these things. I do it on a daily basis with my clients and my friends. So at the bottom, we have physiology. How do you walk? How do you sit? How do you stand? What do you do when you drive? Is your chin always down? Are your shoulders rolled forward? Are you always hunched over because you're always looking down at a device, your laptop, your phone? Maybe when you sit on your couch, you're holding the remote and your chin is always down. So if you think of physiology, there's actually a phrase called tech neck. Tech neck essentially means that nowadays, some people have a curvature in their spine because they always look down. Their chin is always down to their chest, their shoulders always rolled forward, and they don't get a deep breath because their chest cavity is almost caving forward and caving in. So that person just reeks of stress, anxiety. You can see it visually in their physicality. So number one is physiology. How do you sit? How do you stand? How do you carry yourself as a whole with your body and your body language? Number two is going to be your focus. That's on the left part of the triangle. We have our focus. What do you focus on the most? Is it what you want in life? Is it what you lack? Is it what you don't have? Is it that you're stuck in the past or doing the fabricated scenarios of the future? And you're stressed about future what if scenarios. Now, Derek, you don't understand my situation. What if this happens and that happens? And what if this happens? And if that happens and 5 years later, then this might happen. And you tend to stack what if scenarios. That's an example. Or are you on the flip side and you control what you focus on, and that relates to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, the man, the woman, the parent, the brother, the sister, the daughter, the son that you want to be and the leader that you want to become? Are you focused on what you're lacking, what you don't like, and all the negativity of what you cannot control? Or do you focus on what you can control, which is the person that you can become inside and out and the leader that you can be for others? So at the base, we have physiology. Top left, we have focus. On the right side of the triangle, we have our language. The language consists of three things. Your internal dialogue, meaning how you speak to yourself. Number two is how you speak to others externally. How do you speak to others externally? Number 3 is going to be how you speak digitally. How do you speak online, on Facebook? What do you post? What do you type in your captions? So how do you speak to others? How do you speak to yourself inwardly, your internal dialogue? And also, what is your digital language? Some of you speak really negative to yourself. Some of you post really negative. Some of you are amazing friends to others. But if you spoke to them the way that you speak to you, you would not have any friends. Hear me out. Some of you are an amazing friend. You build everybody up, you support them, you guide them, you give them that love, that affection, that positivity, that motivation that they need. But you do the complete opposite to yourself. So what if you spoke to them the same negative way that you speak to yourself? Nobody would want to be around you. That is why a lot of you don't have a good relationship with yourself. It's because of your internal dialogue. And now flip it. Do you speak positively to others and positively to yourself? Or are you negative both ways? Either way, it's all about awareness. So when you can control these 3 things, you can elevate your mental state. Everything starts at number 1, at the bottom. Your bottom is going to be the physiology. If you're working at a desk all day and you're always looking at a computer and your phone and your keyboard, you may be slumped over. So if you feel stressed from having back-to-back calls, if you get up, walk around, dance, go outside for 10 to 15 minutes, you have to change your environment by moving your physiology. I'm sitting at my desk right now in my home office. If I stand up, I can go walk my dog. I spend time in the sun. I might get in the ocean. Either way, I change my state. And the fastest way is to change your physiology. If you're sitting, stand up, shake it out, turn on a 1-minute song, dance, go for a walk, whatever you can do. And if you can't leave your vicinity, you can drop on the ground and do 15 push-ups, or you can do burpees for 30 seconds straight. If anybody listening right now, if you do 30 burpees for 30 seconds straight, you will be in an empowered state. You're gonna be winded, tired, thinking, oh shit, I'm out of shape, whatever the case may be. But that's how fast you can change your state. Right now, if I just start shaking my arms and I start barking and go, hurr, hurr, let's get it. Instantly, I have chills, I get tunnel vision, and I can be focused. Some of y'all might think that's crazy, but I highly recommend you start barking in those moments that you need to flip the switch. You don't have to do it all the time because you know how to control the switch mentally. Physiology is number 1. Number 2 is what you focus on. What are your most dominant thoughts? Are you focused on what you lack, what you want, etc.? Number 3 is how do you speak to yourself? Your external dialogue, your internal dialogue to yourself, and your digital dialogue. How do you speak on the internet? Are you always arguing with somebody on Facebook? Right now it's political season. We're in the middle of July 2024. It's political season. We all know what's been happening these past couple of days. So many people are arguing on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, via email, on Microsoft Teams at work, whatever app they use. People are arguing. They speak positively outwardly to others, but online they're negative. All we're making you be aware of is how you speak in all 3 ways. You have to control that. So if you speak positively in all 3 ways, if you think positively and you focus on what you do want, and then most importantly, your physiology, you're aware. So that's what we're going to leave this video with and this podcast. I want you to be totally aware of these things. What are your most dominant thoughts? How do you speak internal, external, and online? And also, how's your body language? Catch your posture. Sit up taller. Have your chest up and shoulders back. Maybe you just need to work on your mobility and flexibility. A lot of y'all don't really stretch enough and you don't do enough weight training and resistance training. So if you have a weak core, you're always going to be overcompensating, and that gives you muscular imbalances. You're sitting at a desk, you're walking all day, you're always going to have pain in the opposite side of your body, because if you know anatomy, everything runs diagonal. So if you're listening to the video, I'm making an X. I'm putting my arms up in there and making an X. That's how everything goes across your body. An example, if my left shoulder is really tight, I guarantee you my right hip feels weird, down to my right ankle and my right foot. Same thing if the upper left part of my neck behind my ear feels weird. I'm going to feel it diagonal down across my body. I'm bringing this up because a lot of you have bad posture and body language. And if you have to give a presentation, it's hard for you to get into an empowered state and you look nervous. You might not even be nervous, but your body language just shows nervousness, tension, trauma storage, because trauma is stored in the body, things of that nature. But the person that's flexible, the person that focuses on mobility, exercises, they have a strong core, they have better posture, and they're way more aware. The last thing with posture, I want you to pay attention to when you eat and drink. One of the hardest things, and also pretty funny to think about, is it's very difficult for people to enjoy a meal without touching a device. Enjoying a meal without touching a device. When was the last time you ate a meal and didn't touch a laptop, a computer, your tablet, your iPad, or your phone? Enjoying your meal. You're by yourself on your lunch break. Can you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner without touching a device? It's nearly impossible for a lot of people. I did this a couple years ago. I was like, all right, is this email that important? Is this Instagram message that important? Whatever I'm doing. Is anything right now on my phone more important than this meal that I'm having? And the reason I want you to pay attention to that is so you're more present. And when you pay attention, you realize your posture will begin to be better when you're eating. The reason people have such bad posture nowadays in 2024 while they're eating is because they're always slouched over. So be aware of these things. Those are the 3 things that you can do to elevate your state. The fastest way is to change your state by changing your physiology. Move, shake it out. If you're on your feet all day, sit, decompress and breathe. What do you focus on the most? How do you speak to others? What do you post online? What do you write in your group chats? And how do you speak to yourself? Make sure it's powerful, empowering, affirmative, positive, and the way that you want to be spoken to. Treat yourself like the golden rule. Everybody knows the golden rule. This was episode number 2 of Mission Ready. Today was a little bit more intensity, more energy. I appreciate your time. We're about 11 to 12 minutes in. Once again, I hope I've earned every second and every minute of you listening to this podcast. My whole intent is to give you proven action steps you could take in your life to elevate your mindset, your body, and your career. This is Mission Ready. We'll prepare your mind and body for the battlefield of life. Thank you for being here. I'll see you guys next time. Let's get it.